Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and today I want to talk about 8 authors that have become or are auto-buy authors for me. I don't even need to know the synopsis of the book. I'm going to pick it up. And I also have 2 honorable mentions that used to be auto-buy authors for me. Not really anymore. I don't know if I've just kind of outgrown them or what, but they used to be if I saw one of their books on the shelf, I was snagging it. So I'm going to start there and I'm going to work my way up to like my top auto-buy author, I guess. Because some of these do have like some backlists that I'm not necessarily interested in reading, but I do, really enjoy it. I've kind of jumped on the bandwagon. And I've been enjoying them, so anything coming out in the future, I'm definitely going to pick up. So the first one that is kind of just an honorable mention, I used to, if I saw a book in a store, I would grab it, and that is V.C. Andrews. This is actually V.C. Andrews' Flowers in the Attic. The author passed away and then a ghostwriter took over. So there's only actually a very few of the books that are actually V.C. Andrews writing, and the rest are all ghostwriter. So, but this one I've never actually read, but I want to, because all the books I've read have actually been by the ghostwriter, not V.C. Andrews. And so I've been trying to collect this series. I think it's the Dollanganger family series. And so I would like to read these at some point. But I used to, my sister, she had the Hudson Family, I believe. I'll insert a picture. I think it was Rain was the first one. And I don't have those. I want to get those because I want to reread them now as an adult and to see. But I remember reading them a couple times because my sister had them. But like I said, Flowers in the Attic is probably the best known V.C. Andrews book. There was an adaptation. And so I do definitely want to read this series. I have several of them now, but I think I'm missing a couple. So, yeah, that's the first one that's honorable mention. I don't just grab anymore, but I have several of their books. I do want to reread them all and to see if it's still an author for me or if I'm going to go ahead and haul those. But I still really, if I see one in a thrift store or whatnot, I tend to pick it up still. So that's the first kind of honorable mention. The next one is Irish Johansen. This is one, I don't think I've read this one. I haven't read a lot of the Eve Duncan books, which is her main series that she does. And there's like 20, maybe 30 books in that series. Like there's a lot of books in the Eve Duncan series. And it's this forensic, she like resculpts the faces and such. Forensic sculptor. There you go. And so there's a lot of Eve Duncan books. I've only read a couple. I haven't read a lot of them. I've read some of them that are kind of focused on a different character, but she's in there. And then I've read the ones that she's done with her son, Roy Johansen. I've read a lot of those. I think I've read all of those. And I went on kind of, when I was done collecting Nora Roberts, I then switched my focus. So minus, I think there's like 2 maybe new ones that I haven't gotten yet. But minus that, I have all the Eve Duncan and all of her like thrillery, more adventure-like books. And then I did collect some of her, she originally started as a romance author, and I've collected some of those as well. But I have the majority of her collection of the newer suspense, like thrillery action books, and then quite a few of her backlist romance books. Like I said, I'm just missing like a couple of the newest ones that I haven't got yet. But I do want to get those, so I plan on, like, I have all the other books. It makes sense just to get those, but they're not high priority because I'm not reading them. And so this is an author I need to read and make sure that it's still an author I like, instead of just keep buying the books and putting them on the shelves without actually reading them. So that's why she's kind of honorable mention, because while I was working on her collection, I've kind of not been reading it, so I haven't gotten the newest ones, because before I spend full price, on books, I want to make sure it's still an author I like, where the rest of them, most of them, I either when I was collecting them, I grabbed them, when I saw them at the store, and a lot of them I got secondhand as well. So those were the honorable mentions. Now, kind of bottom of the barrel, that is an auto-buy author. I've read 3 books now, and I have 2 more to go, and they do have a new one coming out for like the holiday season, and that is B.K. Borison. This one is the newest release, which is first time caller. Of course, Lovelight Farms is where I got started. I've read the first 2 in that series. I'm kind of reading them seasonally, so the next one I'll read in summer, and then the other one in autumn. But they haven't necessarily been 5 stars, but I really like the writing style of this author. I really like the characters. They're fun contemporary romances. And so I do plan on getting the new one when it comes out. But as of this point, I did look to see if they had any that I didn't have. And this one, it doesn't look like it. So I'm really excited to get the new one when it does come out. I can't remember. I'll try to insert the date here, the picture of the book and the date that it comes out. But there is a new one coming out this year. I already have it on my list. And I will be buying it when it comes out. So that's kind of been an auto-buy author. The next one has actually several that I don't have, but I'm not really all that interested in. But I got started on them with the Ruinous Love trilogy. This is by Brandon Weaver. There's also a new one coming out. Again, I can't remember. I'll put the date and the picture of the book, but I definitely plan on picking that up right away because I enjoyed the Ruinous Love trilogy so much. If I enjoyed that one, I might go back and check out their backlist, but I definitely plan on picking up the books going forward unless, I pick up this next one and it's just kind of a flop. Then we'll kind of see and we'll adjust. But right now, like, I got this as soon as it came out. I immediately picked it up and I read it right away. So definitely an auto-buy author at this point. We'll just have to see if I'm interested in going back to their backlist. The next one actually has a lot of books, but they're YA and middle grade. And I think this might be her first adult books, and that's Heather Fawcett and the Emily Wilde series. This is book 3. This is this one. It came out at the same time as Scythe and Sparrow, and I got them both immediately. And I read them both immediately. Scythe and Sparrow, when I was done with it, I went on to Emily Wilde's. And I just love the cozy writing style of this. I am actually interested in reading the YA and middle grade books by this author. I think there was 7 of them. But they're not high priority because I don't know how much I would. I mean, I enjoy YA and middle grade both, but I really like the adult writing in this. It was cozy. I just really, really enjoyed it. So definitely anything coming out in the future. I don't think there's anything coming up that I saw, but anything that does, I will be getting for sure. This one, she has, let's see, there's 3 other books that I don't have, but I found her through the Regency fairy tale series. So this is the first book in the series, Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. There's also kind of a Victorian fairy tale. I thought it was supposed to be a series, but so far only 1 has come out and there's nothing on any future books. But that's how I found this author. Again, cozy, really, really enjoy this. This was my favorite from the series, the first one, Half a Soul, and then The Witch Would Not. I do think, even though it's a separate series, it's a Victorian, it does have a lot of little connections. So I do think it's worth reading the Regency first before reading The Witch Would Not. But love the cozy, the writing style, everything like that. And so, like I said, there's 2 novellas that I haven't read that are part of this series, but they're little half novellas, and I'm not necessarily interested in those. But the other book is completely separate, and I would be interested in picking that one up for sure. And anything else, I'm keeping an eye. I hope they do more this author does more in the Victorian fairy tale series because I want more. I want more for sure. This other one is kind of nonfiction and wrote 3 books, and that is Caitlin Doughty. And this one, From Here to Eternity. And Caitlin Doughty is a mortician, and she has a YouTube channel, and YouTube unfortunately keeps demonetizing her, and she puts a lot of, sorry, you can't even see the title because of the glare. She puts a lot of work into her YouTube videos, and it's so frustrating because they were like my favorite videos when they would pop up, and now they're very few and very far between. And YouTube just keeps demonetizing her, and I'm like, I don't understand why. Like, I don't see anything, like, she's not graphic or anything, but she talks about death and educates you on it. And so I've read, she has Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs, which is a bunch of questions from kids, and then she kind of answers those questions about death. And then Will Smoke Get It, or Smoke in, I can't remember. I'll put a picture anyway. Something about smoke in the eyes. And then this one, From Here to Eternity, like, talks about death and the culture around death in different areas of the world. So really, really enjoy her. If she ever writes anything else, I'm definitely going to pick it up. And then let's see here. Then we get into my top ones. So this first one, there are 2 backlist books that I do not have that are on my wish list, and I do plan on getting at some point. That's Trisha Levenseller. She also has a new book coming out. Again, I'll start here, and the date is projected to be out, that I'm going to pick up right away. I love Trisha Levenseller's writing. I've loved everything that she's written. I have them all here. The Daughter of the Pirate Queen / Siren Queen. Those are, a duology. Then we had the Bladesmith duology, which I loved, was like my top book from whatever year I read them, 2023, I think. And then the Shadows Between Us and the Darkness Within Us. I read my last birthday and absolutely love these. And the writing of this author, like, I've enjoyed everything I've read from her. I do plan on getting those 2 books. I think it's Vengeance of the Pirate Queen and Warrior of the Wild, I think is the other one, that are backlist. I do plan on picking up at some point, but anything new I'm going to pick up right away for sure because I love this author. Then we have the one and only Carissa Broadbent. So Daughter of No Worlds is the first book in the War of Lost Hearts trilogy. This is my favorite from this author so far. The Crowns of Nyaxia series, I still gave 5-star, but there's something about Max and Tisana that I just absolutely adore. And so everything I've read from this author has been 5-star. The next book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series and the Shadowborn duet comes out in August, I believe. And I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to read that right away. And then there's another duology, the final duology in that series, that I will for sure be picking up. The only book I didn't have of hers was Slaying the Vampire Conqueror or something like that. But I just picked it up and I'm actually planning on reading it this month. And so I'm assuming it's going to be a 5-star because everything else has been by this author. So I love Carissa Broadbent's writing. And like I said, the War of Lost Hearts trilogy, I think it far surpasses, as far as like plot and the world and the characters, I think it surpasses the Crowns of Nyaxia series. It's a bit more involved and there's a little bit more depth to it than that other series. And so this is definitely my favorite. But as far as character-wise, I think my favorite are Misha and what's his name? Asar, I want to say, from The Songbird and The Heart of Stone. That they're my favorite characters, but this is my favorite series so far. So there's that one. And then the last one, my favorite author. Although lately her writing has not been that good, but of course it's Nora Roberts. I have every single book she's ever written and I'm keeping up with it. The next book comes out in May. I think it's Hidden Pictures, I want to say. Again, I'll insert it here, but comes out May 27th. And generally the way Nora Roberts writes is she does, in May, her standalone romantic suspense comes out, and then she typically does trilogies, and each book comes out in the trilogy in November. So, there'll be 3 years to fulfill a trilogy. But lately her writing, it's been super slow, and just kind of boring, honestly. And she's older, like, but honestly, I think she needs to step back. I'd rather get one book a year and it be strong and really good than her just pushing out these books just to push them out. But this is the first book I ever read from her. It's actually the fourth in a series, and that's Chesapeake Blue. And it's a 4-book series about these brothers. They're all adopted, and then Seth, their father dies, and he had just recently taken in Seth, which is the main character of this book. So they end up raising Seth, but it's a romance, of course, so they each find love along the way. And then in this one, Seth is now an adult, and he has kind of demons from his past. And this was the very first book I ever read from Nora Roberts, and I was obsessed with it. I still really, this is one of my favorite series. I've reread it multiple times. I think it still stands up. There's been a couple that I've reread that are a bit dated, and you can tell. But there's just Nora Roberts, even if the ones I didn't particularly like her newer ones that have just been kind of slow and not very well written. She's still, her writing style and such, there's a comfort there that I really, really enjoy. So, yeah, she's my top author. I will keep, until she stops writing, I'm going to keep picking up her books because I have the whole collection. And I want to keep up with that because I can always just dive in. Even, like I said, the last ones haven't been that well written. They've been super slow. And like her newest trilogy, like I honestly think it could have been one book. And she kind of changed her format because before it used to be a trilogy, but you would kind of follow a different couple in each one. Where she's kind of changed that in the last two series, where it's been like one couple you're following. With, you know, some side characters, of course, but you're mainly following the one couple, so their romance is drug out. And like the last one, like no progression on the romance, like it was so boring. I'm very disappointed, but she's always a comfort read for me. So those are my auto by authors. I would love to know if you read any of these authors, if you enjoy them, or what an auto by author is for you. I would love to know that down in the comments below. If you don't know what to comment, or you just want to let me know you're here and you're supporting the channel by commenting, you can always leave a rabbit emoji. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.